5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, welcome to Mumbai International Film Festival 2022. Here in MIF Dialogue, we are having international jury members who were there for MIF 2022. First, I will introduce them, and then afterwards, they will talk about themselves, their films, and afterwards we will take question-answer session. Thank you so much. Subaya Nalamuthu. Subaya Nalamuthu is an award-winning wildlife filmmaker from Chennai. He studied cinematography at the Film and Television Institute of India. Subaya Nalamuthu is an award-winning wildlife filmmaker from Chennai. He studied cinematography at the Film and Television Institute of India. Following this, he filmed Living on the Edge, India's longest-running Panda Award-winning environment series. He has also worked with the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, as a high-speed cameraman. His passion for the Royal Bengal tiger has translated into 5 tiger-centric international documentaries for National Geographic Channel and BBC. His prolific filmography includes Tiger Dynasty, Tiger Queen, and the world's most famous tiger. He has made innumerable documentaries on the environment and the interaction between humans and the ecosystem, such as Earth File for BBC World and A World Gone Wild for Animal Planet. His achievements in wildlife cinematography includes the distinction of being one of the first to use 4K resolution for wildlife filming in India. He has won several national and international awards, including the National Film Awards 5 times. He is a regular jury member of the Jackson Hole Wildlife Film Festival and has also served as the jury chairman of the Indian Panorama Film Festival 2021. Meena Rad. Meena Rad is an Iranian-born and French-based documentary filmmaker, producer, and journalist. She began her career as an award-winning political and cultural journalist for the BBC, RFI, and AFP in various Central Asian countries. Since 2014, she has been the festival director of the Festival Opéra Veyron in Paris, creating a global network of filmmakers inspired by the work of Jean Rouch. Her first film, For Me the Sun Never Sets, was awarded the prize for Best Documentary at Cinema Verite Film Festival in Tehran. Her filmography includes Persian Tales, Jean Rouch in Iran, and The Future of the Past, Père and Yolande Perron. She is also the founder of World Cultural Diversity, which produces films of cultural and anthropological interest. Through the company, she has produced and directed Mr. and Mrs. Murphy, which looks at 100 years of education in Iran, and Spirits, Forests, and Rivers, Memories of Worlds from the Hubda of the Amazon, which explores the words of the Hubda community of the Amazon in collaboration with the ethnographic archives of Renato Atias. Jean-Pierre Serre. Jean-Pierre Serre is a world-renowned French producer and director with an academic background in philosophy and theater. He was initiated into the world of theater at the Centre Dramatique de l'Art in Strasbourg. His foray into cinema began in 1970 with the direction of 3 prize-winning short films. Following this, he worked as an assistant director on the feature films of Serge Louvois, Roger Hanin, and Lilian de Carmadec. After working on commercials, corporate programs, and the French Foreign Ministry's cultural magazine show Aujourd'hui Enfant, which was shown on 180 channels around the world. As a producer of feature and documentary films, he has worked on over 30 films that have won awards at film festivals around the world, including the Cannes Film Festival, the Academy Awards, and the Venice International Film Festival. His productions include Indochina, director Regis Wagner, which won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film. La Bonne, a Tout Fair, director Melvin Van Peebles, which was screened at the Critics' Week at Cannes Film Festival in 1999. A Tosca, director Benoit Jacquot, which was the opening film at the Venice International Film Festival in 2001. He has also held executive positions in a number of influential production companies such as Inside Productions, Autumn, Septembre Production, and La Cinq. Dan Wallman. Dan Wallman is an Israeli filmmaker, theater director, and academic who studied film at the Film Institute of City College, New York, and the New York University. His debut feature film, The Dreamer, was an official entry at the Cannes Film Festival. His filmography, among other films, includes Flock, My Michael, An Israeli Love Story, and Valley of Strength. His films have been screened at festivals around the world, including the International Film Festivals of Cannes, Venice, India, and Shanghai. He has recently received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Jerusalem International Film Festival and a Silver Hugo at the Chicago International Film Festival for his contributions to cinema. He was also awarded the Arik Einstein Prize, the Lifetime Achievement Award at the International Film Festival of India, and the Ophir Lifetime Achievement Award, awarded by the Israeli Film Academy in recognition of his achievements and contribution to Israeli cinema and culture. He has taught cinema at the Tel Aviv University, New York University, School of Visual Arts, and most recently made a film with the students of National Academy of Chinese Theater Arts in Beijing. With this, I will ask our esteemed guests to talk about their own films, about their own projects, and about themselves one by one. Thank you.
Shall I start?
Tina, you're the queen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Happy to be here. First of all, congratulations to Film Division to have organized such a professional and worldwide international film festival. MIFF is showing its own way to the world that MIFF is a place for screening the international films and also being a market for South Asian country. It's more than a festival. It's a place to be, a place to exchange, a place to produce, and a place to become a vitrine of the South Asian film production and also on international productions. And through the programmation of the international film, MIFF is going to give a special vitrine to the latest productions that are coming from sometimes very far away countries. We have been watching the film from very different countries around the world, the islands far away from different countries, and it shows that how MIFF has been gone to the other part of the world. So that is a very good congratulation for the 7th edition of MIFF. And that I wanted to say as the chairwoman of the jury of International Film Festival that we have been watching with a lot of attention beautiful films with a lot of originality on making the film, beautiful storytellings, and very good point of view. And in all the films that we have been watching, we have considered that how much the level is high. And we have also been watching the films that are coming from cultural identity of India. We have been attracted so much on that to see how Film Division and how MIFF has focused to show this heritage of the past. So first of all was my congratulations to Film Division. You want me to introduce myself, but you have already done it so well.
But the audience would like to know more about you.
Oh, okay. That was my part of the international jury. So I am a French filmmaker. I was born in Iran. And in Persian, we say that the one who is far from her hometown is always looking for the culture of the hometown. So I've been making films concerning the cultural identity of my hometown, Iran, and also of the other countries. In France, in Quebec, Canada, in Brazil, about the Amérindians. What I'm looking for in my filmmaking is to look what is precious in the culture of the past and what we can transmit to the future. How we as a filmmaker, we can be a go-between between what has been practicing and what the new generation can keep on and going on. That has been my, my light on my filmmaking. I have been working as a reporter, international reporter for 20 years. From 90s, and I have been covering a lot of traditional musicians in India, and I was lucky to be in India in 90s several times, interviewing and being with Amjad Ali Khan, Girija Devi, Gopakrishan, and that was a very lovely part of my working on this cultural heritage. Traveling from different parts of India, Madras, Goa, Kerala, and finding out how in India the cultural and the tradition is rooted to the culture. And then I started to work as the filmmaker, and I did Atelier Varan. Atelier Varan is a school that is built by Jean Rouch. Jean Rouch, I just show you. Jean Rouch is the father of documentary filmmaker for us in France and in the world. What he does, he was an engineer, he went to Africa. They asked him, come and make a film in Mozambique. He said that, why should I go there and make a film in Mozambique? I go there and I train the Mozambican young filmmakers to make their own films. So he invented a method of direct cinema, which is carrying your camera, following your intuition, listening to the word, and make the film without any without anything that you can on your back. Follow your intuition and follow the personage and make the film with the person, not on the person. Never make the film interview direct. Follow and go inside the person. That is the method that Jean Rouch made. He built it at school 35 years ago, and it has been in different countries: Bolivia, Brazil, Georgia, in different parts of the world. And I did this school in 2012. After having been working for television and for different audiovisual parts. And my first film won a prize that you will see tonight at 6 o'clock. For Me, The Sun Never Sets, by the member of jury whose name was Amrit Gangar, who is presenting my film. I have honor that he's here. And it was for its warmth and simplicity to narrate a profound story. That's why I think that the mention of the jury is something that follow the whole path of a filmmaker. And since then, I made 10 films concerning cultural identity, and I followed the path of Jean Rouch. Jean Rouch, what he did, he went to Africa. He said, we shouldn't have this colonized way of looking at the others. And he changed the way of looking at Africa by making the film. He tries to look inside the culture and bring what is important and what is rich in each culture. So what I've been trying to do, every culture that I found around my research, around the world, in Quebec, in Canada, with the importance of French culture in Quebec, or in Amazonia, with the importance of the Amerindians, the autochthone, who have the very important culture of the past. Or in Iran, I followed the path of Jean Rouge to see what was the influence of his cinema in Iranian cinema. For me, making the film is looking at the universe, is a way of changing our whole world. Making the film is not just making the film, is changing ourselves and also give the torch of what was the culture of the past to the new generation. It's a way of being, it's a way of telling to the world how can we build a better world tomorrow.
I'll disappoint you and be a bit shorter. I'll just say that, I've been making films for 60 years. I mean, actually, I started at the age of 20 with short films. And I've made bad films, I've made good films, but I continued working. My country has 9 million people. So in order for a producer to recoup his investment, it's very, very difficult. So I do all kinds of things, commercials, industrials, documentaries, and I enjoy doing all the medias. It's a great honor to be invited to be on the jury of a festival, and you hope that you'll see films, the kind that you don't see at home. And yes, we had a good chance of seeing some unusual films, some interesting films. And obviously sitting there, and you're forced, not forced, but the part of the job is to see 10 hours of films. Sometimes after 5 hours, you suddenly say, I don't have the patience, I don't have this peace of mind that I would have if I just go and see an hour film. So probably, I think, but in spite of that, I think the jury came to a decision regarding all the films. There was an agreement. And this is it. I'd be glad to answer later. Thank you.
Good morning. I began my life in working with short films and as a film director. But very quickly, I began a producer. And one of the things that I was looking for in the project was how the films are in resonance with the life we are living now. So all these films we saw in this selection, which was a good selection, was all involved. Most of them were involved in the life that we are living now. So this is why I am very glad to be partner, to be a member of this jury of the MIF, and really I appreciate the conditions of screening and all the organization.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's already introduced about myself. Basically, I started as a cameraman from Film Institute, worked in Film Division, ISRO, and worked in all the channels, you name it, from national and international as a cameraman, director, cameraman, producer, and feature films, and worked in all formats, right from low band to beta to digi-beta to HD to 4K, whatever you call it, including 35mm to 16mm. I mean, mainly on documentaries and reality shows and observation films, international documentaries. Now, the last 15 years, I'm focusing mainly on wildlife. So mainly I'm producing films on wildlife for international channel. All are self-funded films because everyone knows there's hardly anyone to fund for documentaries. So I tried my level best. No one was interested. So finally, I started producing myself. I produced 6 films, all are award-winning films, focused mainly on tigers because that's the only thing which is very challenging and we have in our country. So that's my forte now. I'm planning to start working on feature films based on these tigers because of this OTT revolution. Now everyone wants to tell a story in a different format, in different way. So that's my next attempt. My experience in watching in this as an international jury in MIF is the first thing as a technician, as a cameraman, it's always good to see documentaries on big screen. You hardly get a chance to see a documentary on big screen. You get to see them once upon a time in theaters, which we used to, Films Division and Doordarshan, we used to do a newsreel and stuff. Those cultures completely gone now. That's a great experience to see, watch documentaries in a big screen. That is one, and different countries and different subjects, different culture and different perspective of telling stories and documentaries. Apart from this, lots of first-time filmmakers after the digital revolution. It's outstanding content. It's like they said, telling the way story in a completely different perspective. No, it's just made us to what do you call that? It become very so difficult to judge the films, because good content storytelling was completely candid and original, and I mean, some people just picked up the camera and started traveling in Kashmir, and someone started traveling from one country to one continent, and he was filming himself and showing this sort of a new way of telling stories of documentaries has really opened our eyes. But unfortunately, what happened, we also suggested to DG what we all felt is, because today is a content. It's everyone wants a good content, so we need to have a what do you call that, select. We need to have a we need to give some prices for good content. That's one thing which is very important. We have all the categories like good film, good camera work, and all the categories. We need to create a category purely for content or a script or a storytelling, because what we saw is outstanding content, because somehow we're not able to give, select them. So that's one thing. Apart from it's a great experience, this is the only platform which you get to see different documentaries. I hope we need to have a platform to show documentaries, which we are lagging in our country. So something from this, we need to work on it. That's it. That's my experience. Thank you.
We can take question answers now.
Yes. Me.
First-timer filmmakers were there. So, what about the technique? Was there a
See, it's very, very difficult. Very, it's difficult to expect technically good films from the first-time filmmakers. There are some people at a two-man crew, three-man crew. It's hardly any. You can't. I don't think they can afford a professional team in terms of technical. But if there's a good content, you always forget about this technicality. And if you see them you saw a lot of films, which a daughter who was traveling throughout Kashmir, to search for her house or whatever, father. I mean, technically, I won't call it as bad, because you accept it after a point. The way emotional story, it's original. It's very, very. She's talking from her heart. It's very emotional. So there are a lot of shaky shots. Those days are gone, because as a cameraman, once upon a time, you see even a small shake shot, I used to fight with the producer and director to remove the shot. We always feel, the shaky shot is the problem. Now I think this the kind of a content which has come, which I'm also working on it. Even outfocus shot, even a jerky shot, even a grainy shot. Those days are gone. That I call the digital revolution. It's not that anyone can pick up a camera and go. The content carries. It's a great storytelling, because you can see them. You can literally be there in that particular location.
Yes.
So that's a new revolution, I can say.
so content is important
King,
because why I am asking is because
Can you talk on the microphone that
Yeah.
we don't hear you?
Yeah. No, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, because why I'm asking, in feature film, in mainstream cinema, there is a much of technology is coming, but in documentaries, as you said, it is very difficult for newcomers to arrange all those technical equipments. And so, for documentaries, all of you, do you take content first as a criteria?
I think so, because this digital revolution is really helping for documentary filmmakers, because at least you can see their content, their storytelling. It's a good. Hold on, I think if you want, you can.
Yeah. Actually, what we were put in mind was the content, and also we took in consideration the circumstances and the situations that were in which the filmmaker were making the film. The quality were different. They were the film with a very high quality of innovation, of technique. They have something on the back, but we always look the content the narration, the storytelling, the rhythm of the film, how the film is written, is it catching you up to the end? And all we were took in consideration with the way that the filmmaker were using it. If you are going to the villages and filming the puppets, or if you are going to film the dancers in the village and you are filming at night, that is completely different. That if you are making some interview or filming in the town, we took in consideration the circumstances, but what was guiding us was the content, storytelling, narration, the rhythm of the film.
I agree. I think, first of all, cameras are very light now. And, two people, can really make a film, shoot 2D and then make a DCP and it looks like $1 million. So, and sometimes I think that when a film is technically bad, it looks more sincere, it looks more real. So sometimes, so you see a film and it looks a bit grainy and so on, but you see that the man fought and, maybe people were not aware that he was there, etc. So I don't think one can generalize, it depends on the particular film.
That's very, you can see the sincerity, that's what.
No, so this is exactly what we saw for 6 days. It was exactly what you explained about these films, because they are all different, but all they have the content very, very, very interesting, but the way to arrive to this result is each time completely different.
That's one reason. That's one reason we want to create a category for content and good storytelling. It's very important, actually.
This is for all of you. We saw a lot of newcomers, young talents who have screened their movies. So if you can elaborate on that, what kind of work they have done, or what is they need to do more, because obviously we see a lot of young talents have screened their movie this year. So how did you judge that, and how did you find those movies? And also along with that, if you talk about something about the regional movies, some regional movies. Yeah, so specific region oriented movies, if you want to elaborate on that.
Actually, I think it is in the national jury that is a special award for the first movies. We didn't have this award on the international jury, but we could follow that some of the films were the first films internationally. So we couldn't took in consideration, we just went to the content for that. And on what concerned the regional, we were very much interested on what is the cultural identity, what has kept in the story of the region, and what is on the back of the film, what is the use of the film for future, and some documentaries that we saw are the real museum for tomorrow. So you cannot pass by near these documentaries. You look at the content and the technology, but also you look at the message of the film. And I think that is a very good support that film division can make for these young filmmakers who are doing that, because it's keeping this culture for another generation. I can give you a lot of examples of the film that we saw in the Indian film, much more in international competition that are based of original, like Dobigat, like the dance, the Guzali, and like the we have seen many of the films, and I think they were very well chosen by the pre-selection committee. That and I think we took in consideration the regional efforts that they made.
Yeah, in terms of youngsters, what I can say is, because of the digital thing is very cheap and very easy, it's one-man crew, two-man crew, anyone can make film. What we found is most of the films are very long. They should cut down the duration, because I don't think nowadays people have time to watch it. That's one thing, because everything is not cheaper. It's easier to put whatever they want, and they want to tell so many things in one particular film. You have to be a little more focused in case they're following a track or something, which is missing. And third is too many talking heads. Just whoever they find, they just try. And most of the time, it's hardly find. It's very hard, very. Not too much of research. There's no pre-production which you can make out because they just talk to people, they get the story from them. No? So at the end of the day, they start using their interviews, which is there, which they can short, crisper, and more focus of storytelling. I mean, still, I think, but even though it's long, sometimes we can watch it, and obviously the emotional and entertaining value is always missing. Not every film is got, which is very important, even if it is documentary, which I prefer because even wildlife, I try to get some emotion and try to fit into that, which is very important. That's what I think in youngsters. I mean, end of the day, there's no documentary schools in our country, and very, very, very difficult for them to get trained. So they need to. I think in a course of time, they'll try to get this thing done. In a feature films, obviously they can join as an assistant, and they can learn. So hardly any schools. So that's also a problem.
I want to add one more word. It's a bit, I feel uncomfortable, coming from another place and giving ideas and suggestions and so on. But still, I think that, you see that a lot of effort is put in the film divisions, they make a lot of films and on different subjects, in different rural areas. And you see that, I think that something. First of all, I'm saying, okay, who is the audience for these films? Who sees these films? Do the people in Mumbai see these films? Do people in New Delhi see these films? So I'm saying the question is, could somebody make like a big revolution and make a change so that these films will be not for free for anybody, but they will reach the big festivals in the world. So I have some suggestions, okay? So again, it doesn't come from a patronizing thing, but I'm just saying from looking at other film divisions in the world, like in Canada, other places. I'm just saying that, first of all, you get the feeling that sometimes it's like a travelogue. There's a lot of information. There's a narrator and it says it started this year and so on. And usually the information kills the experience, the emotions, too much information. So, and I feel also that sometimes when it's shot in a certain state, they have to interview the head of the region or some politicians or something. So then you suddenly have cold, interviews with people. So I'm saying I think that if, the film division would tell the artists who are making the films, you have more freedom. Use poetry. Do it your own individual way. Don't try to make us happy because you're giving the exact information. I think that it will be a big change, and then I would not just, I asked somebody here among the filmmakers, what happens with your film? He said, I just make the film and I let them decide what to do with it. But I'm saying if, you say you're trying to reach the important festivals in the world, then you don't release it here first. You say we have a film made like this and you try to reach the best Dutch documentary film festivals, or other most important, France or whatever. And then I'm not saying that it's a provincial country sending this, but I'm saying you want people to recognize. And I'm telling you, have here so much talented people and so many intellectuals in every area. So I think that there is something that could really change the whole situation here.
I just want to add something of that. There's one sentence that is always can guide the filmmakers. It's that it's better to make a short film that at the end of the film, the spectator wants to know more than to make a long film that the people wants to leave the screening hall. That is something that when I give the master class, the students normally they write it. And it's something that accompany you. So it's better to make a short film than less than 26 minutes than to make a long film that you don't find even the place in the festivals. Because when you make the short film, you have much better solution to send it to the festivals. And I think there is also some of the films that we saw, they could have made 4 or 5 short films wonderfully done. that they could have, with the help of film division, they could have found the beautiful festivals around the world that can be very happy to have this kind of films. But not that film of the less than 1 hour, but the short films, and to have the point of view on that. That was also another problem. There is also something else that we observed this, as Nala was saying, that this interview face to face. Direct cinema, when you make in France, we call it moment de parole. The time that you take your personage of the film to go deeply to his thought. You take that moment because it is important for you and for your camera, and you have such a kind of relation with the person that he brings out what is as inside, and you have it on the camera. That is great, but we don't put it on the editing, the face-to-face camera. We find a place to put it with the other landscapes, some other shootings. That was, even the film had a great sense, but face-to-face interview, it's put down the film. That is the documentary base. Yeah.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Just I wanted to know regarding short film maker as a career, because often whatever we see is most of the young talents who start as a short film or submit, it's only their thesis for to get into the big cinemas or feature films. They will not again come back. Most of them they will not come back. It is project report from their B school. Just I want your take on if they want to continue their career as a short film. What are the any advice or tips? Thank you.
In feature film, yes, a lot of people want doing a short film, then they're slowly getting into feature. But in documentary in India, I don't think so, because I mean, I hardly see any people who made a short documentary films and get into documentaries. But feature films really works, and a lot of short we saw mostly short fiction. There's no short film, like no short documentaries or what do you call that, spots. No, it's like mostly short fiction. But it's really worked because mainly they're using it to take it further or enter into Bollywood or wherever. So I don't know about internationally how it works, making a short film and how.
Just briefly, I'm saying that, like people who write novels, sometimes they go back and write short stories. And I do, let's say television suddenly offers me to make dramas of half hour, which, then I make a feature film. And then suddenly I made 3 short dramas by Bashevis Singer. So it was not only that I, wanted to be in the feature films, I love making films, and I will continue making short films.
He made a short film in 1964.
Yeah.
What was the first short film?
No, again, when I was a student, I made a 3-minute short film. I came the first day when I studied at an evening school. And so I came up the steps to the school, and there it said, that there's a film festival for 3-minute films. And so suddenly my head started thinking 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it was, like a period of 3 years that I was thinking. So I made the film in 1965, and it really opened the door for me. It won many prizes and cash prize, and it really, so it is very important, I think, that aspect.
That clearly shows. In 1965, someone made a short film. In India, we just started doing short films just maybe 3-4 years back. So that's that level of difference in terms of our side. But that's one thing which I really got. I mean, he said 1964 he made a 3 minutes film. I think we never made any film less than 2 hours in 1964. So yeah.
It's just something I add for the short film. It's even less expensive to send the short film to the film freeway, to the platforms. You pay less expensive, and they have a lot of possibilities. Also, the short film can help the distribution, because they can put a short film before a long film. When it's a feature film on the cinema in Paris, they can, for example, in France, they can put a short film 15 minutes before it. So there are a lot of possibilities for distribution, for the worldwide distribution of the short film. And I think MIFF can play a very important role on that because it's a good vitrine and the people can watch what is here. Sorry, you wanted to add?
We have also a festival in France, which is the Clermont-Ferrand Film Festival, which is dedicated to the short films. So you have many short films coming from all the world.
Yeah, I would like to ask all the jury members about the films which you got to watch in order to decide on the awards for this edition of MIF. So were there some fierce disagreements amongst you in terms of the evaluation of these films, given that each of you would be looking at these films from different points of view and different angles? And I would request you to also throw some light on if there were some such points of disagreement, how you got around to resolve, were you able to resolve them, and how you got around to doing that?
I think Veena was right.
I have to say that we fight a lot. We are completely.
I tell Dan, sir, please Dan, and after you, I will say
Okay.
about our
No,
quarrel.
you know, we can't mention names of films, but I'm saying there was one Indian film which I thought was really fantastically made, great film, and the other jury didn't like the film, all of them, you know. But I'm saying it's a democracy, and so I'm saying, okay, we'll go like that. It's not that we all loved it. So it didn't go to a fist fight, but it was like that. Yes, please.
Actually, yeah, I have to confess that it was a very good condition that we saw the film in a beautiful recording hall. And I have to thank them because they chose me as a chairwoman. And we no.
We just gave since she's only one woman, we thought.
And I was a good teacher class, yes, because we had a very big classor that we had to write. And from the very beginning, I suggested them that if we can write after each film. So we were watching the film and we were taking a couple of minutes, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, sometimes 20 minutes after each film to write about the film separately. And when we were writing about the film, we were going around, we were talking about it. So, and that was the discussion that we had about each film. And then we were talking if we can take it under consideration or not. And we were making our evaluation on the film. And at the end of the day, we were after 8 or 10 hours that we were watching the film, we were also thinking and continuing to talk. And each day was a kind of elaboration of what we have seen, because it is also something very comparative. We would have seen some film at the first day, said, wonderful, we'll take it. And then the other day, some other film came, because everything is very comparative. Content, storytelling, narration, editing, written, point of view, and for whom is the film made, who is the audience. And we had a constant discussion. And after 6 days that we watched the films, we spent, I think, nearly 2 days on thinking about our evaluations, because we had a short list. And at the end of this short list, our purpose was to give the much award as we could. So we were really putting in the balance, and it was a question of matching. It's an international festival. The film came from very far away, and they have very good qualities, and there were Indian films also. So it was a question of balance between what we saw and what were our criteria. And what we do, sometimes we split some prizes, awards, that we don't say, you will see it on the board. And because we couldn't get to one film, so we chose 2 films.
After the long fight, that's only compromise. No? So, okay, you
Yes.
split it and finish it off.
And also something that we did, we considered that what is more important than the award and the cash money is also the mention of the jury, is what we wrote. we took a lot of time. It was a lot of fighting, Dan, especially between Dan and me, but we get,
Maybe she get married finally.
yeah, but we finally got together and we had the compromise on what we wrote, because what we wrote is something that accompany each filmmaker whole life. It's not just a word. It's something that comes, and with all these different point of view we had, because we have to thank Film Division. It was a very good collaboration between us. The Tiger Man of India with his eye of camera, Jean-Pierre with his production and distribution eye on the film, Dan with his 80 years old filmmaker, with all of his experiences, and we had Anant
Anand
Vijay,
is missing. He's a journalist. and,
wonderful,
he's the-
eminent journalist,
yeah,
wonderful,
wonderful. Yeah.
who was giving very
Outstanding,
right,
outstanding thing.
understanding of the culture of the film, or what is on the background.
Not only in Indian content, even international content. You pick up
International.
one point, and which is
Yeah, and Anant, that's what we're talking about, Anant Vijay. And I've been working on documentary with my eyes, and then we get together to write these sentences. And what we were fear is to not give enough award to the films. So what we did, we decided to suggest you some certificate. There is no cash money on the back, but we really wanted to encourage these filmmakers that I think these are the films that can go to international festival, even in international televisions. So that's why we put this certificate on. And we suggest also that if for the next edition, we can have more category awards, like
content and script and stuff.
storytelling. So this award can be divided, then we have more possibility to give award. That was our fear, but I think we are happy.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
what
even
we
though it's
did.
an international section, lots of no, even though it's an international section, lots of Indian films also there. It's not only international. Some people felt their film is more competitive. I mean, they can compete with the international section, and we found that is also. I mean, we never kept only an international subject. There are some Indian films also we selected. I mean, Anand always says, I mean, even though there are a lot of content, a lot of personal views with individuals. So Anand always say we need to see the film as a film, just keep all this personal thing outside. So we always consider seeing only that as a film, and there are some good technical award we just gave for the Indian films, because a lot of constraint, a lot of limitation. They've done a brilliant job in terms of technical side also. It's a mix of Indian and international awards, not only international thing, which is very good, because that's one thing which we kept that in mind and worked out.
Yeah, I have one more question. Thank you for the answer. I understand that all of you are veterans of the film industry, the decades of experience. However, I believe one thing which has brought you there to this position is your lifelong learning and your continuous learning. So, and it is also said that no one ever graduates from the University of Life, that we remain a student. So from that perspective, I would like to ask, has this experience of watching the films presented at MIF, in what, could you please tell us in what way possibly it has opened your eyes, or has it taught you something, this experience, and if yes, how could you like to express that? Thank you.
First of all, I mean, it's all people all interested in, first-time filmmakers. I'm glad that now there's interest in last-time filmmakers. So, no, he's asking, okay, about people and about experience. For me, there were some films here which were really, new subject, new landscapes. The one, was a film about the islands of Faroe. Never seen this landscape. There were some very moving stories, about, Armenia, about, all kinds of places. And some of the films made by the film division about India, like the Gusadis, it's called, is it the Gusadis? The Gusadi, for example. It's something that I never heard about, and very, very unusual. So I really learned a lot. And some, that there were some films that really made me cry, really touched me. So, that's it.
Jean-Pierre, we go by ages now.
No. So we discovered a lot of things in these movies, and it's also it's interesting. But not only we discover the different countries, but we discover a different way of life in all these places, and this is the most important. And how the film director is the storytelling of the film director is. Efficient to understand what is these countries, what is how it works in these countries, which is the feeling that we can get finally.
Yeah, well, in international documentaries, I always watch to learn the storytelling, which is what I always, even though I'm a jury, what I always see as a student. I mean, that's one thing which learned a lot from these films, mainly the kind of a storytelling, the kind of approach, which definitely it's a good learning by watching these films. That's what even the newcomers, because they're not from film schools, they're original. So sometimes you can get inspired from that, something what works, what is not working. So it's a good experience for watching it and judging it also.
I have to say that, no, you are younger than me, yeah? Oh, sorry.
She went by the color of the hair.
Yeah, actually, that was all the time that we were watching the film. You see the ambience, thanks to Mukesh and the team of the film division. Actually, I have to say that for me, it was very interesting. Directing a festival, we are in 8th edition at Après-Varan that get together all the filmmakers who work on Jean Rouge. And normally we see the film and we discuss it after. I just realized how important was that film division put this strategy and tactic that we came before, we watched it together, and we had time to discuss and think about the film, and we were watching it together. We were catching the touching, the emotion of the film all together. That was very important experience for me, and I think if the festivals, they can do that, it's a very good way of watching the film, that the jury watch them before, and then during the festival, it's another atmosphere. You can go and meet the filmmakers, something else coming. That is a very good part of this experience. The other experience was that this mixture, normally in the festivals, they don't mix together national and international, but that you have a national jury for national film and then international jury for national and international. That means a level that this film can go internationally. That was a very good remark also for me, that it gives the way that the film can travel internationally. And also something else was the way that you prepared us was not the biography of the filmmakers. So we had just the film to watch. It was after that we were Googling it at our hotel to see what they have been doing. But during our decision and during the day, we had a very good preparation on that. And I think the experience was also the mixture of technicity, the point of view of some films. For me, using of some technology on using the point of view and how this technology can encourage the filmmaker to go on the back of the idea and bring this point of view to the film. That was, for me, very interesting, and I discovered it in several films that we saw, and you will discover it in the awards also, that and what we wrote. It was a great discovery of that. And the most discovery for me was the film that has been done by Film Division and on Indian culture. And I realized that how important is to making a documentary and keep these cultures. That is the only way to keep the past. And I realized that some of them were freelancer and some of them are film division production, but they will remain in the history for future. And I think, and especially we are working more and more on archive, the film section of tomorrow will be very based of this archive. So what we saw will be the archive for tomorrow. Dobigat, Guzali, the puppets, there were many films, and I think it's an encouragement for the film division to encourage these filmmakers. And you will find a good market in Europe and internationally for that.
Yeah, the best film you selected is the amount of research work we have done is outstanding. The archival footage they used is marvelous, never been seen before footage. It's, that's why we give importance to those sort of research work and the footage value. The camera side, if you see, once upon a time they give camera award for good looking, well shot films, but this time we agreed to give a category camera award for a person who candidly shot and very well covered. So we kept all these parameters in mind and selected those films.
Yeah, so I've been mentioning about different venues for short films, like there's a lot of opportunities for short films. So I'm a first-time filmmaker and I've no film school background, nothing. So I'm basically a choreographer and a dancer. So for me, I went to Film Freeway. I submitted like right and left to many festivals. Is there a resource where, there's like a lot of bogus festivals over there and they're good ones. Is there a way to identify the right venues or the right is there some kind of centralized resource center to make us educated, like first-time movie makers or who are not in the film, who didn't come from a film school background or never worked in, film industry before? Is there like a centralized resource which can educate us?
I think that there isn't such a place. I'm saying I think a lot depends on you. And you should say, what am I interested in? Let's say dance, okay, my film. And then you just say, what are the best dance film festivals in the world? Okay, and you get the best 10. And you send them like a letter and saying, I'm finishing my film this, when is the date of your festival? And then that's the way to do it, you have to fight for it. There's no, okay, that's my film.
There is the best education for film is to watch the film, but have a notebook and write down and keep what you're watching. And watch it thinking of the content, storytelling, editing, the rhythm, am I interested in, and take it, and then that is the best school. And the other thing is that there are a lot of international trainings that are made in several weeks, 3 weeks, 7 weeks, 12 weeks. We do that where we go to different countries. We just bring the method because in a country like India with Satyajit and all the filmmakers, you have the best cinema of the world. What is missing maybe is just a method of how to build up a film in a couple of minutes and how to make this short film. And with 2 or 3 weeks or 7 weeks of training, you can catch it. And they are international. In France, there are different schools we have. Internationally, there are different. And go to the festivals. There are the master classes, and follow the master classes that the filmmaker talks. That bring a lot to you.
Yeah. That's how I made my first film. Like I followed the tutorials, whatever was available over there, and then, that's how. And MIF chose my film in International Prism, and that was like an honor for me, for a first-time maker.
The conversation can really go on because there's so much to learn from them and know from them. But at the same time, there's some time constraint, and we have to close down the session now. So you people can continue with them afterwards. They are here for some time and until the festival gets over. And definitely there can be interaction with all of you. Thank you. Thank you, audience, and thank you, our esteemed jury members, for joining us in MIF Dialogue.
And thank you of you who were wonderfully moderating that. And thank
you so
you
much.
for nice questions, and continue with your films and with your research on the films and writing and filming about the films.